What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to more Outriders. Now, today's quest is to show you guys some free guaranteed legendaries that you guys can get in Outriders. If you guys are trying to stack up on some legendaries, get some of those tier 3 mods, maybe you're looking for a specific legendary, whatever your reason being, today's quest again is to make sure that you know all of the current methods to get some guaranteed free legendaries. Now, of course, I'll be posting a lot more Outriders content, guides, endgame builds, farming methods, and more very soon. So if you don't want to miss out on those, all you got to do is tap that subscribe button. Now, thank you so much for being a subscriber. I honestly do appreciate you, and let's go ahead and get started with today's guide. Now, many of you watching or already playing Outriders know that a couple updates have already occurred that nerf some of our favorite legendary farming methods. So the intention of this video is to explain all of the current ways to get legendaries, and of these there are a couple that are repeatable for you to do over and over again. Now, starting with the most obvious, that is going to be expeditions. If you're unaware, expeditions are really just end game missions after the campaign is finished that allow you to take on hordes of enemies, ranging in difficult based on your expedition tier level, not to be confused with your world tier level. At the end, your goal is to secure a drop pod and gather the resources from them. Now, depending on how long it takes to complete, you can either achieve gold, silver, or bronze status, which affects how many rewards you get, but also how good those rewards are. Now, of course, the goal is to get gold for these expeditions, and the higher your expedition tier, the higher the legendary drop rate. Now, prior to the recent patch, Chemical Plant or Boomtown were the go-to expeditions for farming, as getting gold was fairly simple and the enemies were not nearly as difficult as some of the monsters that you face in the other expeditions. But with the patch, there was a significant reduction in the time it takes to get gold by about 5 minutes. So others may have their preference on which expeditions to farm now, but I'll say this: Scorched Lands has a lot of enemies, but also more than enough time to get gold status. If you farm expeditions, remember that you should be farming at a level that is not very difficult for you. Sure, the legendaries won't be the same level as you, but you farm these repeatedly without dying every time. You don't rely on multiplayer, and of course you can upgrade them later as you go. Next is our Big Iron side quest, which can be found in the Desolate Fort location. Simply head to this location after talking to Chana, and she will have a quest for you herself called Big Iron. Now, this quest takes you to a couple locations in that desert to collect parts for Chana. Once the quest is completed, you can visit Chana, and then you can choose from one of 3 legendaries. Now, those 3 legendaries will not change. They're always going to be the Grimero, Airy Master, and the Landlubber. Now, unfortunately, if you repeat this quest, you will only be rewarded an epic item, so there's no point in farming this. But if you do have multiple characters, of course, you could take each character and go ahead and complete this quest. Moving on to probably the most efficient and guaranteed way for a legendary, and that are hunt quests. Now, if you're unfamiliar, in Trench Town is a bar located in the center, and if you visit the bar, you can speak to Noah, who is the active bartender. He will have a quest available for you, which requires you to go to each location on Enoch, find the golden paw symbol, and locate a pile of bones, which will then give you a side quest to hunt down a specific beast. There are 10 in total, so feel free to fly through these on world tier 1. Then, if you need the epic or legendary gear to actually equip, and you're not just farming for mods, you can increase your world tier as high as possible before the 10th monster hunt. Once done, visit Noah again, turn in all your quests, and you'll get an epic item for each, as well as a random legendary. And yes, this quest can be repeated over and over and over again to get a legendary every single time. Contract and wanted quests are very similar, except at the same bar in Trench Town, you'll find a guy. Now, I'm probably going to butcher this name, but I'll try my best, and that's Ugio, who is sitting in the section off room reading a book. He will have a side quest available that talks about completing contracts or finding and eliminating wanted people. This is very similar to the hunt quest, in which you travel to each location on the map that has a target symbol. Find that target symbol once you get there, which is usually a wanted poster, and then eliminate the target. Once all of these have been completed, return to Ugio and then turn in your quest to get your epics and another free legendary. And yes, this can be repeated multiple times for that legendary. Next are historian quests, which are similar to contracts and hunt quests, but you probably ran into these when you first started the game and entered Rift Town. In the market, there is an elderly lady who talks about history books you can find throughout Enoch locations. So once again, we find ourselves traveling to every location that has a golden book symbol. Once there, find that golden book symbol locally to start the side quest, defeat the mobs, and then collect the history book that's there. You can then turn these all back into the woman and receive a couple rares, epics, and one specific legendary. Now, honestly, what you guys could do is go to every single location, do the hunt, contract, and historian quests all at the same time, and then turn them all in at the end if you wanted to. Honestly, it just really depends on what you want to do. Now, of course, many people who race through the campaign for their characters to get expeditions may have forgotten that you do get a free legendary reward for every world tier you start to unlock, starting at world tier 12. So you do have 4 guaranteed legendaries available from these if you wish to farm your world tiers. There are plenty of guides available for farming world tier levels. However, be warned that it can still take some time to level these up, and if you're farming legendaries, hunting contracts are probably going to be way faster. Next on our list is the Forgotten Chapel side quest that is available in the Canyon of Grand Obelisk location on your map. I do have a video explaining this in my Outriders playlist on this channel if you'd like an in-depth explanation, but long story short, there is a secret side mission you can do that is fairly straightforward that unlocks a Forgotten Chapel with a chest in it that gives the player 1 guaranteed legendary. The quest, of course, is not repeatable, but can be done on various characters, so if you have 4 that have this location unlocked, you could essentially get 4 legendaries within minutes and put them in your stash to share. Now, moving on to probably one of the longest side quests that guarantees legendary, and that's going to be the Outriders Legacy side quest. Now, in order to start this, you have to reach Trench Town in the campaign, and then there is a female named Lucy that gives you information about an Outriders hatch. In order to actually start this side quest, you need to interact with the corpse that is hanging right near your camp in Trench Town, which then leads you to talk to Lucy. Now, this quest does require a lot of steps and fast traveling between locations, but if done, will reward you with a legendary. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I am unaware if this is repeatable, as the quest took me about 40 minutes to complete, and I dare not use that as a good method to farm legendaries. But either way, if you do the side quest, it will give you a legendary the first time. That is 100% guaranteed. Next up is Tiago the merchant at our camp after completing the campaign. Once the campaign is completed, you will unlock another location called the Outriders camp. Located here is a man named Tiago who will sell you legendaries in exchange for drop pod resources. These drop pod resources are gathered from doing expeditions, which is another endgame event. Now, the legendaries do not change, except for each character class will change what armor can be bought, but the weapons are always going to be the same. Now, as you level up your expedition tiers, the cost for each legendary piece from Tiago will also increase as their levels are adjusted to match yours. So you could farm lower level expeditions, buy all the legendaries, and then upgrade them as you go if you would like to take that approach. Either way, the legendaries are available for purchase. Now, last but not least is farming random elites or captains or warlords, etc., whatever you want to farm. However, I will put this out there that this is not a guaranteed way to get a legendary. It's just a method that a lot of people have used to farm some legendaries in the past. When Outriders first launched, or even the demo, many explained the process of farming elites, captains, and warlords in certain locations around Enoch. These seemed like suitable processes for farming legendaries because you could select the story point from your main menu that drops you right before a warlord or captain, run and eliminate them, and then hopefully a legendary drops. Then let the mobs around that elite kill you and you'll respawn again, having collected your gear that dropped, but also allowing you to defeat that elite over and over again until a legendary drop. Now, I will admit some people swear by this method, but honestly I'd recommend you just stick to a guaranteed method for legendaries, or at least a method that gives you a higher drop rate like expeditions. Either way, if you'd like to give this a try, one of the best ones to do is located in Dunes. So go to your lobby, select the story point from the main menu, and select find the source of the distant light. This will drop you right before a warlord you can kill very easily, even on harder world tier levels, and then let the mobs around you kill you, and thus you will auto pick up your loot and respawn to defeat him again. Before you do this, just make sure that you have auto loot on in your gameplay options and set that to common. So there we have it, all of the guaranteed ways to get legendary gear in Outriders at the time of this video. Now, if there are methods that I missed that give guaranteed legendaries or maybe have a higher drop chance rate, go ahead and put those in the comments below, as I'd love to know, and again, I'll make sure that I share that with others. Before you leave, I'd like to invite you to become a subscriber for more Outriders guides, endgame builds, tips, and more daily videos by tapping that subscribe and like button. Thank you so much for doing so. My name is Silverback, our quest is complete, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.